right, everyone. I've had a couple of requests to walk you through the escape room that I built for Harry Potter. So I thought I'd do that now. It's a little bright outside still. Typically I do this with my family or my friends while it's dark, so you don't actually see the windows or the other rooms, but it's bright. This is the best time I could do it. So here we go. Let's start. Typically they would be outside of this room, either upstairs or on the other side of that wall, and they magically receive this letter. It says, and this one's specific to my family. I built different ones to other people, so we can really kind of skip a whole lot. But I hope you receive this letter at a safe and secure location. The world is in dire need of your assistance. The history that you have learned has been changed. As members of the Order of the Phoenix no longer trust me, I could think of no one better to assist me in this matter than the two of you. Of course, at that point, I would change it depending on who is in the escape room. It then goes on that Dolores Umbridge arrived at Malfoy Manor and told Voldemort and the Death Eaters of the future. Desiring to change the outcome and to please the Dark Lord, she stole a time turner and returned to warn the Dark Lord of Dumbledore and Harry's plans to destroy the Horcruxes. Voldemort took immediate action and went to gather all of his remaining Horcruxes. He has hidden them in a magic-proof room. When he was unable to locate Gaunt's ring, he knew that it had already been destroyed. Due to his dangerous reaction, I decided it was best that he not find out that Harry destroyed the diary's Horcrux in his second year at Hogwarts. I created a fake diary. Thus far, I don't think Voldemort has discovered that it is a fake. He has used it to write down some of his notes. Umbridge also spoke of the Deathly Hallows and their power. While Voldemort was unable to locate two of the Hallows, he did get the Elder Wand and is taking it to the final battle. Dumbledore told me that he would entrust the remaining Hallows to Harry. Unfortunately, Dolores provided information on where to find Harry, Ron, and Hermione. He has found them, confiscated their belongings, some of which are also hidden in the room, and locked them in Azkaban. I believe that he plans to execute them after the battle at Hogwarts. I have included a time turner in the attached pouch. 8 turns back should take you to the exact moment you need to arrive. I have placed an enchantment at King's Cross Station. Go through at the gate 9 3/4. It will take you to the room where Voldemort has hidden the objects. Voldemort will have just left on his way to Hogwarts with an army. I am going to Azkaban to release Harry, Ron, and Hermione. After releasing them, I am certain that Voldemort will know my true loyalties. I don't know if I will be able to escape, so I have hidden a vial of my memories in the room for you to deliver to Harry. In order to keep my memory vial safe, I locked it with something Voldemort would never say, but that I wish I could have said. This contains all you need to obtain my vial. You will have 1 hour from the time you arrive in the room to find and destroy the remaining 4 Horcruxes, obtain my memory vial along with the last 2 Deathly Hallows, and send them to Harry before he gets to the Forbidden Forest. I have left an owl behind that will deliver the items. Good luck. The fate of the future of Wizarding and Muggle world lies in your hands. Severus Snape. Okay, so they get this letter. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but there's a couple clues just in the letter. Obviously, the journal's going to be one. But also, we have some bolded numbers in the letter. We have a 2, an 8, and a 9. So we'll get back to those in just a second, but we would start here at, of course, platform 9 3/4. They would walk in. We have our owl there set up to grab the stuff. And then I've built a few paths, 5 different pathways. There's going to be, the main group that I built this for is 10 people, so I didn't want all 10 trying to follow one path. That's a lot of people for one job, right? So I split it into 5 so that as they spread out and get going, they can work on multiple things, but still have fun together. So, obviously the first one that people might go for would be the vial. And that's in this open box right here. Again, that 289 is the code. They would open it up, and inside is a cryptex. That the code belongs to it is "I love you," as the hint in the letter, and You would really have to be a Harry Potter fan to know that is something Voldemort would never say, and Snape always wishes he could. So that clue was in the letter. That would get them into the cryptex, which has the vial in it, and then it has some instructions to this back table. Snape's also provided them a way to destroy the Horcruxes. So it leads them to this back table with a riddle. Oh, I should have grabbed it so you could read it, but it's pretty great. Maybe I'll read them at the end. It basically says that this is a game. All of these jelly beans, and so of course they're Birdie Bot flavors, have 2 flavors. There's a pair. They have to eat one of each pair, not knowing which flavor each one is. Some of them are pretty gross. So we've got pepper and blueberry, watermelon and dirt, vomits obviously in here, boogers, earthworms, soap. And the rule is that once a container's touched, they have to eat it. Again, it's usually a little darker. We've got the light coming in there, so it's really hard to see which one's in which. In the middle here, I have a cauldron with drinks, just in case they get vomit. I don't really want them vomiting on my floor, so I have a cauldron with some punch or something, and some cups that they can drink out of. Once they get those, you can see there's puzzle pieces under each one. A couple of the people that are doing this are children, so I tried to throw some stuff in that they could easily do, like this puzzle. That puzzle would give them the combination on the back that leads to this room, and the combination's on the floor, but it's a design combination there, and it would typically be on this hook. And that gets them into this room where they have the riddle directly from the first Harry Potter. Basically a direct quote. I just added something at the beginning that says, if you seek a fang to help you on this quest, then drinking the right potion will be the final test. And then there's the bottles, obviously would have them filled with juice of different colors. And if you go through the riddle, obviously this would be the correct one. On the bottom, all of them have something. You can't see it unless you drink the potion. So that would be the right one. Sorry, I got interrupted for a minute there, but I'm back. I'll just merge these videos together. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'm going to find a way. Anyway, if they drink the right potion, they get the code that's going to lead them by I got the riddles for you too while I turned it off. So, and then that leads to this basilisk thing that's down here as part of the decorations, and the code is obviously at the bottom of the vial. I thought it'd be clever to actually name them after the juices that are in there. So juice grape is the correct juice. But if you wanted to see the riddle, that is the game for the jelly beans. I guess it's not a riddle, but it's a poem, as best as I could make it. So, if onward on this task you go, deduction or diligence you must show. 12 pairs of beans before you lie, but which to pick you must decide. The flavors described before each set, one must be eaten, the other left. The eaters may be one or all, small or big, short or tall. Of this rule the game is played. A touched container is a decision made. The wall will open and the game move on when one of each is eaten and gone. All right. So that's really the first pathway. It takes them to the vial and all the way to the fang so that they can destroy the Horcruxes when they find them. The second path would be the diary that was listed in the letter as well. If they're looking through all these books, I've made a lot of Halloween books for this. But this one here, it's a diary. I got it online. It's really brilliant. It is blank according to them. At first they look, but if you remember the books, of course, they know that the ink or the writing does go invisible. So hopefully that triggers. And if it's the young people, I've usually preset in their minds that there is a light. I've got a little wand light that we play with to read the diary. So they don't know where that is. So that trail kind of ends, except for they know something's going to be in that diary. As they're searching the room for clues for other things, In my Monster Book of Monsters here, got a belt on it. I think it's clever. I've got a little note right there. You can kind of see it. I've tried to make it visible. And it really just says, let me pull it out so you can actually see it. Spells for Draco to study. And it gives a list of 6 spells that Draco needs to study. I'll put that back real quick, sorry. Which is mysterious at this point, and again, I've kind of trained some of the younger kids already on this that I knew were going to be doing the room. But some people might not know exactly where they look. They may go to the Draco pictures, trying to find something Draco-based. I assumed eventually they would get to it, something he's studying, so maybe in a book, and so they'd be looking for some spells books. There's a couple deceitful ones, of course. We've got spells. Once they open that, they'll realize it's just a normal chapter book. But there's a spell book right here that has different spells with directions. And I think once they open that and they see some of the directions, you know, if one of them is Expelliarmus, down is the direction. And from that point, it leads them to the directional lock. It's the only one in the room. Here, and they put in that code, and there's the light wand that would help them read the diary. In the diary, the note that's written is XXX marks the potion, but X does not mark the cup. So I've got a lot of potions here. I expect they're going to be looking through maybe to see if they can find any XXXs. But it's actually over here. Oh, before I go there though, over here there are some numbers and letters on each potion. I would assume they've seen that by now as they've been searching through the room, but not sure what it means yet. But on this door, this is a cute thing I got from the dollar store, which was great. But there's XXXs at each top of the potions. I'm gonna have to leave real quick. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So we have the XXXs. I'm not very good at this video thing, which would correspond with some letters, W, L, O, M, E, and those would correspond with the potions and their numbers. So at that point, and depending on the people, if they figured out and seen, the last group was pretty funny because I think they picked up these potions 100 times and not a single one of them noticed that there was a number and a letter on the back of each potion. They were looking, trying to read, trying to figure out where like a W might be or an XXX, and it was pretty funny to watch. The moderator had to help them a little bit. But even including on these ones, I've got little letters just to all the potions until they can find those letters. Those letters would eventually head up to a combination. In this case, it's 5382. And then I put a hashtag number 5282 because there were, of course, five letters on the side, and I only had a 4 combination lock. But that opens this box here. Inside this box, I have many Hufflepuff cups, little trophies, basically, kind of in homage of the fact that, in the books, they got the Hufflepuff in the room that everything doubles. So there's a lot of cups, and on them with a black light paint, I've painted X's, so you can actually see them until if you should at this point already have the wand, which you found the diary for, you wouldn't have gotten this far without it. And they'd have to look for the one that does not have the X, because it's XXX marks the potion, but X does not mark the cup. So at that point, they find the cup that does not have the X, and they can destroy it with the thing that they've either already or not already found, but eventually will. So that's the second path they can take. The third path is just a little guy as they're looking through. Hopefully they come to this right here. It's got a lock, it's got a fish on it. I put the fish on there for a couple reasons. One, again, I tried to put a few little Harry Potter nuances in here, so if they're thinking about Harry Potter and water, they may think that the clue to the water in 4, and this is kind of a stretch, but again, they may find this just on their own as they're searching the room. But in Harry Potter 4, the dragon eggs are what held the clue to the water event. So in here, I have some eggs that we've made with fish food inside here. Okay, and there's just little metal balls. And they may find that first, they may find it after. When they find it, they're probably not going to be sure what it's for until they see that container, and they're going to know it probably matches. At the same time, there's something else in the room for them to find over here. It's in this drawer, and it's a little fish. So once they found those items, all three, the case, the fish food, and this fish in here, and they should be able to match them up, but the fish food being fish food and the fish on the case. But you put the little metal ball in here and it will go through, and if they solve the maze, it'll be the numbers that they go through to get to the end. And that will lead them to open that case that's in that couch. So inside that case is the diadem of Ravenclaw, and that's its own little path just to get to the diadem. The fourth pathway that I have is something they can just find in the room. It's in this bone plate. In the bottom of this bone plate, there's oh good, sorry. There's a little riddle for them. Oh dear. Alright. It says the key you seek is in plain sight. Sorry. You must pick which one and hope you're right. Each but one has a twin. Pick the one without to win. I'll put that in a minute, but if you look up, we've got a lot of keys hanging from the ceiling. At this point, they know each of one of them has a twin, except for the one that they need to win. So they're going to have to go through, find the one with no twin, and that's the one that's going to open the case they need. The last couple groups have done this very differently. Some of them each just walk around trying to narrow them out, talking to each other. I think the smartest group I've done was a group of my friends where they just spread out across the room, and they started in one corner and somebody described the key, and they kind of periodically went to key until they ruled it out, or found one that didn't have a match somewhere. It was pretty brilliant. But that key, once they get it, they're gonna, and at this point, again, I hope they've seen this box back here with the lock. But it's basically the only one with a key that looks like that. So hopefully they would know to then open that key. In that box is the locket. And inside the locket, there's a note that leads them to another clue. So they've got the locket to destroy. At this point, they've only got one more Deathly Hallow, and that would be Nagini. But the clue inside the locket, and I can read it here because I don't want to open the actual box for you. Sorry. Lazy, I guess. It says, wary of serpents these creatures be, some that leave to simply flee. But look closely, for you may see those that count on victory. So anyone who, again, has read the Harry Potter books, they know that spiders are afraid of serpents. And at this point, too, I kind of hope, and you never know, again, the last group I had struggled a little with this. I've got a lot of spiders on the wall, and all of them are fleeing in the same direction. So an OCD person or somebody might have caught on that, boy, when she was decorating this room, she really didn't mix up the directions much, and maybe that's a clue. That, and then they can converge. They converge all to this one spot. At this point, they assume something's in this box because there's a lock on it, but all of the spiders across the entire room are fleeing this box except for this group right here that are going towards it. And again, the clue is those that count on victory, and so you would count these 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, and that's the code to get in, and Nagini's in there. So that ends path 5. They've got all the Horcrux at this point, the Memory Vial, and the Basilisk Fang. The only thing they're missing now are the Deathly Hallows. And that path is just over here in this little puzzle box. This puzzle box just has a key to it and a note that says you must have hope to obtain or to unlock this, or to use this key or something like that. I don't remember the details, but I've got a hope chest back here again. It's locked, so they would have to open that. There's the invisibility cloak is sitting in there, and inside of it is a little maze box. It's quite clever. I really like it. But it's like a doll maze, so they open one maze and there's like 3 boxes inside of it. So they get through that box, and there's one more clue that just says, I open at the close, but close is not spelled C-L-O-S-E, it's clothes as in clothing. And at that point they have to think, where are clothes? They're in a hope chest, but there's obviously nothing else in there. And the only other place really in the room that you might find clothes would be on the coat rack. And behind this little peg, at this point, if you can see, my coat rack has pegs. Behind this peg is a key. It's red, which would go with the box with the red lock over here. And inside that is a snitch, and inside this snitch is the resurrection stone. So at this point they found everything they need. They get those things into the backpack for Harry. If they come back to the riddle on the potion, they can go back in time and they have solved the escape room. So it was pretty fun. It took a lot of work to set up. Thus far I've done it twice, once with my family, once with a group of friends. I got one more group of friends, but I'd say it was all worth it just to do it the once, if nothing else. So yeah, that's it.